Alright, and we are live. So greetings and salutations, people of the internet, and welcome to the bar. I'm Sippycup, your humble bartender and entertainer for whatever time of day it happens to be for you. And welcome to Sippy's First Drink. If you're unfamiliar with Sippy's First Drink, what we do here is I have a variety of games that I try out for 10 to 60 minutes apiece, and then I offer you my first impressions review. The next game up on tap is Norco. This is a Southern Gothic point-and-click adventure that occurs in Southern Louisiana. It's gotten a ton of accolades. I believe it's currently free on Xbox Game Pass. I actually have this on Steam. Yeah, let's see what all of the accolades are about, and also see whether or not this game developed. They didn't. This game features flashing lights that may trigger seizures in people with photosensitive epilepsy. Please also be advised Norco contains depictions of suicide. That was the thing that I didn't get to read. What? No. 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 Oh, no. Okay, now, as always, timer doesn't start until the end of the opening cutscene. It's a point-and-click adventure, so I imagine the opening cutscene is just going to be a shit ton of me reading. Shield hid the stars behind halogen and flame projected onto the sky every night. There is no such thing as silence. The noise never went away. The refinery exhaled an endless sigh. Never sleep was so loud. I still can't sleep without... we're gonna... Boop. I still can't sleep with that sound. Having lived in a city where that was like a legit thing. In your dreams, the towers were grand cathedrals, places of worship. The swamps hid behind mirrors like spies. The birds transformed into radiant spheres and traced omens above the highway blights. Oh wow, that's an interesting artwork right there. You spent your adolescence sleepwalking between little devastating rituals. Though Blake pleaded, you decided to leave. I knew he'd get over it. I didn't care. I didn't care. No. I knew he'd get over it. He never did. You caught out on a Granier to Chicago and onward to the West Coast. You never left Louisiana and thought you'd never return. You thought the ghosts of the lowlands wouldn't find you hiding along the road. The years carried you through overlit suburbs of the vast American limbo, across mountains above cell towers. Thumbing down 99, you saw an old man crouched in a roadside ditch. He was mouthing your name. He had a familiar gaze. He was gone when you wiped the sleep from your eyes. You spoke to Blake, learning of your mother's declining health, her insomnia, her erratic behavior. You ignored the urgency in your brother's voice. That's interesting. By and by, you made your way east. You threw your phone into the Rio Grande and joined the armies of the Mesa. For months, you were in the company of fugitives. You slept in nuclear tunnels, repairing engines and weaponry. The war was a meme that set Albuquerque on fire. You escaped while the foot soldiers of a pop-up junta bloodied the parched land. While hiding in the berth of a Freightliner, I prayed, I slept, I forget. I slept. You slept easily as the truck shuttled through the plains. You called home from a landline in a motel somewhere beyond Texas. You knew from Blake's hello that your mother was already dead. You hung up, shouldered your bag, returned to the highway. 5 years had passed. The ghosts were calling you back home. Act 1. Lowland Ghosts. So there I did start the timer, but there was a little bit of interaction there. You awake from a delirious dream to find yourself in your childhood bedroom. Monkey watches you from the corner. Okay, I'm gonna do... There we go. Poke the monkey. Monkey, you're okay. A childhood gift. You spoke with him often when things got difficult, but then you left. He sat here for 5 years collecting dust. 5 years, his eyes filled with anger as he challenges you to return his gaze. Staring contest part 1. Glyphs. Glyphs will appear and flash a pattern. Match the pattern to meet the monkey's gaze. Okay. Ready? Sure. Yes. You successfully meet Monkey's gaze with cool assurance. However, his expression is unchanged. You stare more intensely. Staring contest part 2. Rings. Circles will appear over Monkey's eyes. An outer ring will shrink to the perimeter of the circle. Click the circle when the outer ring locks into place. Ready? Yes. Anger melts from Monkey's face. Take Monkey. You drape Monkey over your shoulder. I won a staring contest with a monkey. A flyer from a show your friend put in on a few weeks before you left town. A fight broke out while one of the opening bands played. I got whipped in the face with a bike chain. I was outside. You didn't feel like being around crowds that night. After the show, you and Blake shot fireworks from the roof of a hotel on Poydras Street. Sleepless and sober, the two of you walked back to Norco. You watched the sun climb over the grain elevators. You assume Million has been keeping the plants alive. Who the fuck is Million? Among the books on the shelf is a slim volume called Crisis LARPing. Read. The proto-disaster tourism began almost as soon as the floodwaters left. Punks from across the country ventured into the Ninth Ward, Gentilly, St. Bernard, and finally the East. They curated a theatrical self-portrait of their lives in the ruins. The aesthetics of disaster were central to their emerging milieu. It began in percolate into popular culture. Collapse became the zeitgeist. Wise investors recuperated the experience of disaster. New Orleans became a plastic dystopia, a marketplace for crisis. A sticker from grade school half peeled from the window. Okay. The laptop your parent gifted you idles on a shoddy particle board desk. Wake laptop. As the screen illuminates, you notice that the signal on the house is dead. No internet. Looks like Blake was using the computer at some point. He left a browser tab open. View tab. It's porn. Need crash fast. Install Quick Jab. Use promo code that thing for quick coin. Quack coin. Lol, the fuck kind of name is Quack Job. Just like the name sounds, full of lunatics. Oh. See, this is still there. Seen at the base. Wait, what? Modbot archived all posts. Anybody still post here? No places. Wasteland Monsters still SJWs. You're posting. Nice one, jackass. Forgot I even posted. Wanted to run something by you, chance. Was knocking out a sack of late on the spillway. Saw a big round glowing thing in the sky. Called that the sun. Funny. Talked to somebody else. Seen it too near the parish canal. Bro, that's the sun. I see that every day, OP. I've been rising and setting every day. I've been live. Drop it, fucks. Anybody seen it or not? Nothing like this, but birds on them swamps be acting weird. I've all seen the sun, bro. Relax. Looks like it was made of glass, maybe. It would glow real bright and then not at all. Moved fast. Best pick I could get. All kinds of shit been happening out that way. Get some sleep. The fuck kind of name is Quack Job. Mods won't do a thing about shills, but they'll ban you on the spot for using a naughty word. Places Joe Clearnet's nothing but celebs, libs, and bots. Seen this exact thing. Still there. Seen at the base of the upper suction. You are home again. Because your brother needs you, because your mom died. You were traveling through the Midwest. Freight cars rattled in the cold dusk. You crouched on the grainer porch. The cell towers peeked over the flat country, translating the notions of the world. The lights of suburban Memphis, the fences, the traffic, the stark shadows under the lavender blanket of clouds. Afraid, tired, silent, and alert, each terminal you watched the night decay for miles. Then what? You rode on the back of a van wedged between amplifiers from Chicago to Des Moines. You stole a heater from a Walmart and brought it to this poorly attended house show. Des Moines to Kansas City to Denver. Dismiss. You. Finished thought. Keep staring. Stares more intensity. Game passes through you. You become invisible to him. Keep staring. Little circles of light pool in the doll's tired eyes as they watch the infinite space beyond your being. The air that hangs between your eyes and his is a vacuum of utter stillness. You look away. Coward. Memories of sleepless nights, the dull refinery hum in the red halogen half-darkness, your mom sitting here staring through the window. There was a tension in her demeanor, as if you were interrupting some urgent and obligatory task. You'd continue to the kitchen with no words exchanged. I thought she hated me. She was thinking about Blue. She barely knew you were there. A family photo album. Look. Yellowing pages of disposable photographs. Your grandfather, a peculiar look on his face, impossible to read. Your mom staring at Blake, through the obscure lighting. He's dressed as a vampire, tugging at someone's waist, pleated khaki shorts. A photo labeled Duck. Scene of a barbecue on the lakefront. The man at the center points playfully at the camera, his face obscured. Turn page and there's Blue. Mind map, it keeps updating. Your father, though you've never thought of him that way. His skin stained by the sun, a canister of dip shoved into his front pocket. His easy smile, his knowing eyes. You set the book aside. Old friend of your mom's, your memory of him is scattered and vague. Your grandfather, Peter Pops Pierre Melancon, he passed away when you were a teenager. He seemed to court controversy, though as a child you never understood why. Blue is a vague memory. You don't remember Blue, only the things he left behind. Photographs, cologne tools, the name that your mother kept. Even the pictures that have survived are too faded to make out. Finished thought. Your brother is a lot. Younger, reckless, gets in trouble, spends sleepless nights scrolling image boards. An edgelord, shitlord, sensitive soul, compassionate, foolish, can't take criticism, always needs money, tries to help those he loves, but often makes things worse. What else? Insecure, dysmorphic, constantly checking his reflection, always seeking validation. Was terrified of you leaving, and now he's terrified of you dying. When I think of him, all I feel is guilt and obligation. No love or anything like it. Your brother is oblivious. Your grandma once said that she didn't expect much from Blake. She said he was short-tempered, oblivious, and couldn't focus. Blake was sitting in the chair across from her, staring down at a tablet. After she left the room, you asked him how he felt. I feel fine, he said. Why? Because what Gran said, you responded. He looked confused. What'd she say? Your brother. Dismiss. Your mom died. The cancer metastasized. It was in her liver, then her lungs, then it was in her brain. She was on chemo, never finished her third course. At the hospice in Jefferson Highway, Blake said the traffic shook the building. He left before she drew her last breath. Alone with the morphine drip and the rattling glass, that's how Catherine died. Your mom. Finished thought. Wow, so this friend is gonna... So you can kind of see these shades of things behind and how they all interconnect. And so, like, over time, more connections will get made and stuff like that. Turn on the TV. A chaotic distortion of your mother's memories flash before you. Tune in. This is chaotic and difficult to make out at times. A photo of your mom holding Blake as a baby on a beach in Pensacola, Florida. It's winter. You stand beside them, bundled up and laughing as a gust of wind rakes the beach. The sky is bone white. The heat of spring will soon arrive, and the mildewed air of the window unit will fill the room. You peruse the titles on the bookshelf. The Western Margin of the Lake, Critiques of Deliberate Externality, Fenceline de Esporia. Let's do that one. Many tragedies have come to pass along the western margin of Lake Pontchartrain. The unnamed hurricane of that number, yeah, you can read it, left the settlements of Frenier and La Branche in a state of unrecognizable destruction. Those who survived did so by clinging for their lives to the limbs of cypress trees. The fables and secrets of those communities lie within the bones now scattered in the sediment of the lake. Critiques of Deliberate Externality. S.H.I.E.L.D. has acquired much of Norco's most flood-resistant land through a variety of mechanisms. Madre and Moore, YX1Y, argue that one such mechanism is a process of deliberate externality. This theory posits that key corporate decision-makers encourage the company to emit effluent and noxious substances into the environment with the explicit intention of decreasing neighboring property values. This compels residents to sell their properties below market value to relocate as quickly as possible. The criticism that this theory often receives is that it diminishes the importance of slavery in situating black residents along industrial fence lines, Jacobs YX2D, up and down the Mississippi River. In the words of Carter, YX2B, slavery was the deliberate externality from which S.H.I.E.L.D. continues to profit. Pollution was never needed. And Fenceline Diasporia. In the end, we decided to leave dimes. It wasn't the cat cracker or the smells or the fear for our children's health that drove us away, though they played a part. Truth be told, it was the media attention, the spokespeople and activists and academics, and all this. I was done with it. I was done being a poster child, done being thought of as a victim. I wanted my experience to be my own, not something to gawk at or dissect in a laboratory. Leave. And yes, I chose to pronounce laboratory that way. Let's go to the kitchen. Pills. Your mom's painkillers are spilled across the counter. She's been gone for a while. You've discovered so many dead cockroaches in this microwave over the years that it's discouraged you from using it. For several months, a dead baby roach was stuck between the clock's display and the protective screen blocking the hour. Blake finally shook the microwave aggressively enough that the roach fell into the guts of the machine. You were always frightened by the laundry room. Not much in here. Backyard, attic. We're going up to the attic. There used to be much more clutter up here. You imagine your mom gave it away as the end approached. Okay, back downstairs. Backyard, I guess. Million. Your mom's old 4-cylinder 350cc bike. It has extensive rust and wear. Kitchen. Front yard. Pry bar. Steel pry bar lies on the ground. I can't pick it up though. A disintegrating crab net. Blue taught your mom how to make these, and your mom taught you. In the summers, you'd bike to the suction before sunrise, tie chicken nets to the bottom ring of your net, submerge it, sit there nursing your coffee while the swamp raised its voice. You come home with a dozen or so crabs snipping and writhing in your burlap bag. You assume your mom hadn't been out on the water much this past year. The towers of the refinery wink in a subtle and familiar rhythm. Alright, let's talk to another person. Million sits in her characteristic slouch, lost in thought. Her carapace has taken on the rusted and weathered worn quality of the rest of the machinery in the yard. You recall the night that your mom showed up with her. You and Blake stayed up past dawn pouring over pirated API docks. Her ragdoll mask was slumped on the floor as you wrote the routing procedure. You wonder if such memories hide behind her constellation of eyes. The robot regards you casually. Speak. Kay, you're awake. Best sleep in years. The sound of the refinery always did help you sleep, didn't it? Actually, yes. In any case, I'm certain I was no help. She gestures towards the motorcycle at the edge of the carport. I was turning over the engine on that bike to test the coils. It was noisy, but they're in good shape now. All I need is a fuse, and we can use it to get around while I finish repairing the truck. I heard the phone ringing inside, but I had my hands full. Where can we get a fuse? Gas station just up the road has them, but you may have to persuade Troy to let you in. Were you expecting a call? Many people have been calling since Catherine died. Your brother is usually the one to answer the phone, but I don't know where he went off to. Wonder where he could be. Likely at a bar or bookstore if I had to guess. Why would so many people be calling? Your mother left behind a lot of loose ends. From what little I know, I gather she was conducting research for a client in Fat City. I sense that many people would like to acquire that data. I am unaware of where she has hidden it. Perhaps Blake knows its whereabouts. Who exactly would want to see the data? Your mother spent her entire life researching this town. She knew histories that others have forgotten. History has a lot of value in this place. Who's the client? Haven't a clue. These aren't things she discussed with me. As the cancer spread, she became more guarded with her research. Finally worked herself to death. She took her... I took her knowledge for granted. She always kept that strange. I took her knowledge for granted. Your mother had a lot to teach, but she wasn't always the easiest person to get along with. Anyway. That's all. And also, my mind map is now updated. Shield is an oil refinery. Shield Gulf Salt is a regional subsidiary of a transnational oil empire, holds a large share of leases in the Gulf of Mexico, and refines crude oil right here in Norco. The chemical annex sits on the other side of town from the refinery. It produces the feedstock for plastic consumer products. Shield owns half the town. Shield. Your mom was conducting research for who? For a client in Fat City. Your mom. Finished thought. Million was a security android. She guarded the perimeter of the aluminum refinery at Gramercy. One day she ran away. Why? You don't know. Million was a security android to find her family. What? No. Million was a fugitive. Once a fugitive, now just a relic. She spends hours in stasis beneath the house like any discarded thing would. Million. Finished thought. Your mom was conducting research for a client in Fat City. That's all you know. Okay, so I'm getting like tiny tidbits of details. What's this other thing up here? World map. Right? Overworld, yeah. Glad I did that. Title screen. So, yes. That is Norco. So, a lot of you may or may not know, I have a soft spot for PNC adventures. I love them. I love point-and-click adventures. Even, especially when they're kind of on the strange end of things. Like, I played the crap out of, Kentucky Route Zero. This seems to have more substance but less action than Kentucky Route Zero, and also like more sense. It seems, at least right now from what I'm seeing, it's making more sense. So I'm like super into this and enjoying it. It's a lot of reading, but and there's variety in, there's enough variety in like the things that you're doing. I hope that there's more of those mini games. Those mini games are actually quite enjoyable, and they kind of like hammer home the fact that it's not just it's a point and click adventure as opposed to being, you know, a visual novel, if you will. Excuse me. I like the mind map, and kind of how it helps you keep things pieced together. I'm really liking this one. It just seems slow, but I say that after playing almost half an hour of it. I played over 20 minutes of it. And yeah, I like it. I would recommend it. Definitely go check it out. If you're not sure yourself, like I said before, it is on, I'm pretty sure it's on Xbox Game Pass. I like it. I will probably continue playing it. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Now, you can let me know if you agree, if you disagree, or if you think I'm being too harsh, or you think I'm being too sweet. Let me know in the comments below, or, you know, the chat over here, depending on how it is that you are watching this particular stream. But that is going to do it for Norco on Sippy's First Drink. If you're new to the channel and have enjoyed the content, please do consider giving me a follow. Check me out on my other social media at Sippycupgames on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and youtube.com/Sippycup. Depending on how you're watching this, you already knew at least one of those. But that is going to do it for me for now. So thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I raise my glass to you. Laters.